call Chris Ockenvold.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What a pleasure it is on this occasion to follow Brendan Oren, because he has asked some questions. He nearly redeemed himself, Mr. Speaker, nearly redeemed himself by saying there were 2 points that New Zealand First would support in this particular bill. He got one out, couldn't bring himself to say the other.
That's right.
Couldn't bring himself to say the other. So I'll have to canvass a few just to see if these are what he would have supported. We're not just doing roads. We've invested $4.6 billion in a 10-year Kiwi Rail turnaround plan, including $250 million, $4.6 billion, $4 billion with a B, over 2012-2013. We've committed $1.6 billion to improve and electrify Auckland's rail system and invested, wait for it, $500 million to upgrade Wellington's rail. Mr. Speaker, we are already working well. Why, we're asked by Mr. Horland, why is National doing this? It's because National is committed to building a more competitive and productive economy, and we must get the infrastructure right. We're building a better transport system which is vital to transform New Zealand's future and to create more jobs with higher incomes. We're committed to simplifying and to modernising New Zealand's transport system so that it's efficient, cost-effective and fair for all users. I ask you, if this were an election year, would these be things that New Zealand First said they would espouse? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's in keeping with their policy. I can't see where his objections are coming from. And the suggestion that somewhere behind it all there's a conspiracy doesn't quite ring true. Let's just reflect back, Mr. Speaker, on how well we have done with our infrastructure. I think back to our forebears, our predecessors. I remember Mr. Holyoake saying, and sure it shows what age I am, I suppose, but I remember Holyoake saying, we will have a road to within 5 miles of every primary producer. And I used to go for a haircut, 30 miles in Hokianga on a metal road. Not much fun. We should enjoy what we have got in terms of good roading. And New Zealand has done remarkably well. I believe, and I stand to be corrected, but I believe in terms of mileage, we have more sealed road than Japan, certainly more per head of population. New Zealand has done very, very well with its infrastructure. This bill will improve things even further. It seeks to deal with what's an important issue for all communities, ensuring that our transport system is efficient, cost-effective and fair for all users. I remembered Mr. Anderton finding to his horror that there were insufficient roads in Gisborne to get the timber to the mills. We need rail. We've heard about rail. We heard a very, very lucid piece from the chairman of the Transport Select Committee, Mr. David Bennett, who spoke. Well, it was lucid, actually. No, it was lucid. He really got it together, and he gave us the figures. He told us what was happening. Rail has a way to go. Look, I believe in rail. West Coast needs rail very much indeed. The Midland line for taking the coal out, but it's a bit disturbing to find that it doesn't actually make much money on the job. Well, we will talk about the bill, and I'm glad that there's such a demand to hear about it. But the bill will require improvements to the central government's planning and funding framework for land transport activity, as well as changes to streamline the assessment of toll road schemes and the creation of new policy framework for building long-term partnerships between regional councils and public transport operators and the PPP system, which the previous speaker had such a fear of. This bill handily covers those particular things. Mr. Speaker, the bill shows this government's commitment to getting the best value for dollar and removing ridiculous duplication which has been allowed to clog the arteries of public transport. I support this bill, Mr. Speaker, and I want to leave room for other national speakers to be able to speak about it. And so I'll close by saying that I'm supporting the bill because I believe it to be noble of intent, forward of thinking and realistic goal seeking. a goal to ensure that people of this nation get the best services. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Call Darren Fenton.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, I'm pleased to take a call on the land